also an encouraging woman to all of us, men and women on the line this evening. I'm going to start with, I have my title of my lady that I have, which her name is Lynnette, Youson. Everything generational isn't a curse. That's the title that I was praying about, and it kept coming back to me. And, I mean, even when I was trying to go in different places, I mean, it was always coming back to, may not have been the same wording, but it was generational and a curse, you know, because we speak a lot about breaking the curse, generational curses that need to be broke. But in this, when I was reading about Miss Youson, I saw that what she was doing was keeping their generation intact in what they do. So I'm going to read about her. And once again, her name is Lynnette Youson, and I'm going to spell it Lynnette. And her last name is Youson, Youson. Miss Youson was born in Charleston, South Carolina in 1969, and to this day is where she still lives at. She's a fifth-generation sweetgrass basket weaver, and I didn't even know about. I mean, because I see baskets in the store, and you know, I'm always thinking that these are, you know, made by machines, but there's actually people that actually make them by hand, and Mrs. Youson is one of them. Once again, she's a basket weaver. She still resides in South Carolina, like I spoke about. She started basket weaving when she was 5 years old. Her great-grandmother is the one who told her and showed her about basket weaving. And Mrs. Youson, her mother's name is Marilyn. She's been doing this with her for over 50 years, making baskets. And I was just in awe when I saw a couple of things. One, at this present time, she has baskets on display at the Smithsonian Museum. And I was just in awe about that because, you know, we don't hear much about our people of color, brown-skinned people, having things of this magnitude or just hearing things that they have made. You might hear about the person or what they have done, but this is something that she created with her hands in the Smithsonian. She spent her life dedicating to the unique art of the form, which dates to the 1700s and is the country's oldest and largest Western African art form. Enslaved people, our people, slavery, slave people who, our people, our ancestors, they brought this over from Africa. When they came over here, this is a tradition that they brought with them. So this is why I say everything generational isn't always a curse. So this was another reason why I just kept going back to that title. Like, you know, I mean, my God, we have good things going on in our life. You know, our ancestors have brought over things to make us remind us about where we come from and what we are part of. So, like I said, this was brought over from our people from slavery days. It was a traditional weaving basket, and they only use a certain type of grass, and it's called sweet grass. So that's what they use to wove these baskets. And they don't do it like how over in Africa they still do it, where they consider it braiding. Coiling is what they call it. The way that they do it, there's many types of basket weaving. I'm going to just read it. What I have, the main type of material that they use is the sweetgrass, like I said. The sweetgrass is bundled together, and then they coil it in a circle. So as it's moist, they coil it in a circle, and they make it that way, not braiding it, but they coil it in a circle, and they start it in the circle. And because when I see the pictures, everything, all of the baskets that they made, you can see that they start in the middle and they work their way around. So they're constantly putting it in the middle and coiling it around and around. So looking at the pictures of these baskets and what they have in the Smithsonian and how they do it is, amazing to me. It's really amazing. It's different than braiding and twisting, like I said. They don't do that type. That's not how they create the baskets. Her proudest piece was a cross that was carried by former President Barack Obama in his inauguration parade. And that was the cross that he carried when he was nominated, when he was put into office. So that was one of her many proudest pieces, to know that not only that it was the first black president to be put into presidency, as well as to carry a piece that was created and made by a woman of color. So that was one of her proudest moments as well. And I'm going to go to the reason why I held off on my verses was because of the carrying the cross. That when I read that just made me think about the scriptures. I picked two, both from the NLT, and they're both Matthew. One is Matthew chapter 10, verse 38. And it says, if you refuse to take up your cross and follow me, you are not worthy of being mine. And this is Jesus saying to us, because we all have, when they say crosses to bear, I believe that's what we are carrying, our crosses. We have to pick them up and take them with us and bring them along to us to remind us where we come from. That's my personal thought when I read that. It's like, we have to carry them. And then my second verse was Matthew 16, verse 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself, which to me meant drop all of you, all of your personal, your pride, your everything that we hold on to. We must release that, let it go, and pick up our cross and follow him. So when I saw that and I read about her and the cross that former President Obama had in the inauguration parade, and he carried it, it just brought me to these two scriptures. I know there's many more, and when I was looking them up and I was reading them, these two were the ones that really stood out to me and made me think, okay, because to me, when we say carrying and our cross is we letting go of the old us, but we picking up that cross and we following Jesus to the right business, to the right way, to doing the right thing. So that's where I got those two scriptures from. And like I said, Miss Lynnette Youson, she's also taking this to her generation, letting her children and her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, she's teaching them the technique of basket weaving so that they can carry it on and keep it going so that it's never lost, and to know this is part of their tradition. This is what they do, how they, keeping it going. She not only is teaching her children and her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, she also goes out and teaches other people. And she says she'll teach them from kindergarten to 70 years old, and she has had many people come and She trains them and shows them how to create the basket, show them different ways of designing, small ones, big ones, medium, all different sizes, different colors of the sweetgrass she uses to show them and create the different baskets. And the beauty of it is when they finish creating those baskets, they're able to take them with them. So, if you want her to keep them, it's up to you, but everyone who so far, when I've been looking, that everyone who has created a basket took it with them, because that's something that you put yourself into, your heart and your hands and your time. So most of them did take their baskets with them. Like I said, she's keeping it alive. She also goes around and has seminars where, she's keeping this tradition alive, and that's what just really struck with me. Like, how you say, okay, I taught my kids this, they're teaching their kids, they're teaching, and so on and so on. She's not only teaching her family, but she's going out and teaching other people and their families how to do it. So to keep that tradition alive so that it can be something that it came from generations of years ago, slavery, to this day, she's still keeping and pushing forward and making it something that not just her family, but our families and our children's families could have something to look to and know that that's something that was created by our ancestors many, many, many years ago, that was brought from Africa over to the United States, over to America, and still keeping that tradition flowing. Like I said, she's still teaching. She goes around and she shares the history to anyone who wants to learn the technique. She teaches classes also in South Carolina. She's still there, like I said. Majority of the time is in the in the summertime. She has classes in July to August. She's also partnered with Cooper River Division Project to keep this alive, because they were saying that it was hard to find the sweet grass. So she partnered with this company to make sure that there's always abundance enough of sweetgrass to keep the tradition going, and for generations after generations to be able to do it. So this is not just something that she's taking personally. She's taking it personally, but she's also pushing for other people, other family members, other people that she teaches, and other people that might be interested in having the project and doing the weaving of the sweetgrass. So she's trying to make sure that it's always plentiful. So I also was just in awe about how she's making sure and maintaining that there's constantly always enough to keep the tradition going, not just for, like I said, her family, but as well as others. In this, when I was reading about her, and I just thought about other things, like, she says that this is something that she didn't even think it would go, to the president or in the Smithsonian. So when these things came about, she was so pleased about it because, to her and her family, it was a tradition. But this tradition now has gone beyond her and her family, beyond even her measures and what she thought would be possible. Like I said, her mindset was just making sure that their generation knew about it and that they continue to keep it in the family and to teach to whomever might be interested, but to go beyond being in the Smithsonian. The ex-president Barack Obama having this when he was sworn into being the president, on his first term, not his second, but his first term. So that was also, something beautiful to just think about how she went about creating. It was something that they asked her. It wasn't where she said, well, I'm going to make this and make. They went to her, asked her if she would make something, not knowing what she was going to make, but she actually made the cross. And to me, that was her also symbolizing to him something. So, like I said, when I got Miss Youson, and I was reading about her, and I kept going back, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I see that, she has things in the Smithsonian Museum, and she's not just making this just a family thing. She's sending it out there in the world and praying and hoping that other people would be interested. And when I see the pictures that I see, it's not just people of color. It's not. It's people of many races wanting to learn this technique. So that also made me just be, like, oh, okay, I can, see about her, read her, get a little understanding. And hopefully, I pray that someone else on the line has gotten a little bit about her. Like I said, she's still living, still pushing, and still doing it. Her mother is still living as well, who's still helping her to push through and do it. I pray that someone receives something from my word of encouragement. But like I said, once again, my title is Everything Generational Isn't a Curse. So, and I'm going to repeat my scriptures just in case. And like I said, they both were from the NLT. Both were from Matthew. The first one was Matthew 10, verse 38. And the second one was from Matthew 16, verse 24. And her name is Lynnette, Lynnette, Youson, Yousn. And thank you. And how does that? How I got the feeling about how does her and I relate to one another is, my thought was, no, I don't have that technique of the weaving of baskets and things like that. But as a mother, there was other techniques that I did have that I tried, to pass down to my children. And a lot of them, not all, some might have been, I hope and pray, not so many that were not that great. But I pray that the ones that I did insist, that they do, which was my gentlemen, I pray, and I hope that they keep and maintain this on how you treat people. I pass that on to my sons and to my daughters. I pass that how you should be treated. And I would hope and pray that they keep that in them, and I instill that in them, that they are worth more than anyone could ever say they are, and to know what their worth is. So as far as the generation, I just hope that, the experiences that I have been through, they see and they could come out of them and be better. Because like I said, all of the curses, all of the generational things that we go through, some are good and some are horrible. And we want to get rid of those horrible ones. But how it relates to me is me passing down the good things from me. And I pray that seeing that and how she passes down her to her family, the good things that she has in her family. So I just pray that I pass down better parenting, that in my good, in the good spots, in the good areas. Yeah, there's some things I'm still working on, and we all have to break some things, but the good things. So when this came down to it, and I thought about the experience. I thought about parenting. That's what came to me, how I could relate to her. She wanted to pass down her generational things. She wanted to make sure that they knew about the basket weaving, where it came from, how you go about making it, what materials you need to do it, and not only that, to pass down to her children, her grandchildren, and even her great-grandchildren. And where it came from was her mother, her grandmother. So I just look at and pray that in my experience, I'm sure that there's good things and there's bad things, but I pray that with my parenting and seeing how she's passing down her tradition, I pray that my tradition now in the place that I am will be passed down to my children, and they will have a better way of teaching their children. So I pray that someone got something from my word of encouragement. I was encouraged by what I saw about her and how it made me feel. So like I said, I hope that someone is encouraged from my word of encouragement this evening. And that's what I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, this evening. And I hope that someone got something. Thank you.